Hello and welcome back to Creative Audit. My name is Caleb. I'm sitting down here with my father, Randy Robertson. He is the gerbil, guinea pig, that whatever you want him to be. He's helping us figure this show out. And it's not just the availability; it's because he is. If you think if there's anything about me that is creative, if there's anything about me that you enjoy, we owe it all to this Hawaiian shirt wearing man over here.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My dad, Randy Robertson.
That's me. You know me well.
Hey,
You should.
I man, I almost made myself a little dirty joke there. We had to edit that one out. But
The
No,
creative. You said earlier that I owe it all. No, you have created, and that's the whole nice thing about looking at you and see what you've done is that everything hangs around the word creative, and that certainly is definitely you and what you've been doing.
for better or for worse, I don't know. I know nothing else. Like
Yeah.
I literally know how to do nothing else.
But be creative.
It's not even that it's that good. It's just like if this is who I am, I got to figure it out.
Yep.
Apparently, we have to make money to exist here, so you have to structure and figure something out.
Oh, absolutely. Get
So-
rolls in like that.
Yeah.
That's like a daily thing.
Oh yeah.
Get more creative some days other than others.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So like I said, like I mentioned a little bit ago, it's not just because you're here because you're in the family and it's easy. Like it is easy for me to work through these things with some people I know, but it's also because you're at a point in your life where I don't think a lot of people that would tune in to the show are, and I think you can learn a lot from someone decades ahead. And because this point where you're at, we have guests fill out this little worksheet. Wasn't able to get that worksheet to you, but you kind of mentioned, that leaving a legacy is important to you. And why did that pop off the screen to you when you were reading through?
I don't know. It's there. There's you think about the audience as being dad, grandparent, and you look at the audience, and a lot of people they keep asking things like, "Well, how many grandkids do you have?" Well, now the 21st is on the way, right? That one's in the cooker now, and you just presented us with the 20th, and then there's 5 great grandkids. So you look over that base of kids and those little heads popping around all the time, and you get to the age that I am, and you'd kind of like, well, I'd like to give something back that the kids can look to and say, well, that's Pap, and Pap is this, that, and the other, and something that they can take into their own lives in years to come and say, Pap would have done it this way, or to instill something that a remembrance, a fond remembrance. That sounds a little sick on one side, but the legacy part, a legacy is looking back on someone that's left something from their life to the future, and or at least me, that's what a legacy is.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have those things you want to be known for?
well, yeah, and some of those already exist. Pizza Man, remember that?
Well, pretend I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Tell people.
Yeah. We kind of started with the little kids, started in getting them their bath and the whole bit. And I took a wash rag and flipped it up in the air and acted like I was making pizza. And the idea is the rag goes flying up in the air, and I intentionally let it fall on somebody's face. Just a wet wash rag, typically a warm, wet wash rag. And it drops on their face, and for a second they're just kind of startled by it. And then you pull it off, and you just make fun of it. And you put all kind of different ingredients on this pizza, and you can just pick things, and they pick things. They say, put bananas on it. So you chop up bananas, not really, but imaginary bananas and yucky stuff. And you flip it up in the air again and let it fall on their face. So it was just a funny thing. And then instead of being called Pap, for a long time, I got called Pizza Man. And I still get called Pizza Man. So every little kid that comes along gets that dose of Pizza Man. So I intentionally try to get myself in a situation where I'm in they're getting baths and stuff, and I do the pizza thing. The last one was with your two girls. That was the last time that I did that, and they just went nuts over it. So I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
So that's a legacy thing. That's
Yeah.
something years to come. Remember when Pap used to do the Pizza Man thing?
Pap was always fun.
Yeah.
He always,
And that's what you want to try to be. That's the legacy stuff that you leave. And it may not be directly to the older siblings, but they went through all that too. And it's something that their kids can talk about in years to come.
yeah.
So yeah, is that important? Absolutely, it's important. So that's kind of the stuff that I want to be able to leave.
Right.
So you have to go out and kind of create different opportunities. Another one now that's floating around with the kids is something as simple as, do you want to go night night? And it's just joking around and kidding with them, and they're like, "Ooh, yeah." So it's just funny stuff that is a lot of fun
Yeah.
to play around with the kids with.
Yeah. It seems like you don't want, you compartmentalizing. You've always been able to roll in, maybe had an awful day, but you hold that for the kids. You don't, it doesn't go downstream. Bad days stop with you. And when you're with the kids, you're always fun.
I mean, everybody, and especially with parents have bad days too. And you get those days, and I know as parent, we all get those days where we come home and we're loaded down with either self-created anxieties and self-created things that really kind of bring us down. We would kind of like to just go in a room somewhere, put a pillow over your head, and just kind of knock all the noise out and just lay there for a while. But you can't, right? Especially moms can't do that at all. But you don't want to really get in the habit of taking those periods and especially having your grandkids or young kids come in and go, well, Pap's in a bad mood today. I don't want to be bad mood Pap. You know what I mean? So that's just not something I want to push forward. But there are days that you really have to push through to make sure that's not, they're not getting the wrong message.
Yeah.
So we all have those days that are whatever happened, they just didn't kick right. But you gotta kind of power through those things and do what you gotta do.
What is, how do you get there? What creative ways, what ways you in your brain, you can imagine a lot of things in your brain. We talked when you were last on about, you can really create these pictures. It's not that you have to go draw or you have to go write. Maybe these things help you, but you really can in your mind change.
You get there's, yeah. I call it. You got to get yourself in a happy place. I have been, and I think it comes from, I don't know if it comes from a young life experiences where things were never really settled or they just weren't right. So you had to develop a place in your mind that it was right. And I think from quite honestly, from a spiritual standpoint, just having like God in your life is very a stable force. You know that He's got His hand covering all. We may just go, I got this, and I think we do that at times where we're getting. Yeah, I know you're looking out for me, but I got this for right now. And then you find out you should have left it where it was at and let Him take it. But there are places where you do what you feel like you need to do, and I think you're looking for that quote happy place, that tranquility or that peaceful place that you can get back, regroup your head and regroup your spirit and go again. And then I think we all just roll back. I don't know, maybe we don't all do, but I hope that there's a place that everybody can kind of get back in their own mind and say, I got to get rechanneled, I got to get refocused here. I do that. I have to find that place. So I sometimes struggle to get myself in there, but once I do, I think I can pick it up and you can take a step forward. It's a new day within the same day, if that makes sense.
It does. I just have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
So that to me is, if we're getting into creativity, that to me is where yours shines a lot. If you don't think yours is too external, the fact that you can have a new day before you actually have one is a gift.
You don't have a choice. I mean, you really don't. You can take that bad day and you can ride that pony all the way until you shut your eyes. And if you didn't get off of it and you didn't stable that problem before you went to bed, you're going to get up in the morning and you're still in the saddle. So you wake up and you go, yeah, I didn't take care of any of that yesterday. So if you didn't take care of it then, you're back on. You never got off. So your day starts with, just slap it and go. And that just doesn't work out. For me, it doesn't work out. So I got to get myself refocused and not anybody else. I got to get my head there. And I might get there and people around me have no change whatsoever. I come home from work, situation at work is exhaustive, and you come home and you get yourself off the horse. You get rested. You go back in the next morning, and your head is maybe not all clear, but you're going in with a different mind frame, and they aren't. So you got to decide whether you're going to ride into pen or you're going to go outside the pen, and that's you got to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes people join your rodeo, and sometimes you're forced to ride in theirs for a while. So I just try to ride and make me comfortable, and then I can be a comfort to others. It sounds kind of self-absorbing, but I don't mean it that way. But I got to get my mind focused back where it needs to be, regardless of where anybody else is at in their life. And you do that. I catch myself doing that off and on throughout the day. Another phone call comes in, your head's messed up, and you just got to walk out of there and sit down and go, settle down. Tell yourself, settle down.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do.
Well, I think you do it.
Doesn't work all the time, but if you make that your center point, I think you're going to have more successes than you're going to have failures. So
right.
There's my creativeness.
It's very vibrant. I've seen you blow. I've seen you blow out a bad day.
Yeah,
I've witnessed it.
Hey.
And you come back, shake it off.
Oh, I've created some bad days too,
of course.
So now I'm not just being affected by bad days that come from out external. I have created a lot of bad days myself on others. And I think even when you do that, it's even more important that you get back to the center and rededicate yourself to getting that day straightened out. You do a lot of apologizing in that, but I think that's healthy too.
Yeah. Well, I forgot to actually mention our producer, Ben Keller, at the top of the show. Not to change gears immediately, but I did forget to mention that Ben is getting involved here.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben.
How's it going, y'all?
Hey, that's Ben. We're going to get a camera on him soon. If you're watching, yeah. You can't see him now, but in audio, you can hear him. If you watched the episode before this, I think it's 3, could be 2, but Ben and I talked about, goals for the show. And Ben's going to get involved here more. We just got to get in our camera on him. Did I intro you well enough, Ben? What do you?
Yeah, pretty much. My name's Ben. I'm 23 years old. I'm starting to get into this realm with my uncle, and it's cool to be able to do it with family as well. And I'm kind of here to sit and tune in and try and make this show what we know it can be production wise, but also if there is a time and place where I feel like I want to chime in or maybe bring up a point, I'll do that as well. But I'm really just here to listen and try and make the show what we want it to be, and that's my main focus and goal. And we're gonna take it day by day and see where this position leads us.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So tell us about a little bit about your mushroom hunting. You like hunting for mushrooms?
Oh man, I've actually I've been doing a good bit of that lately. Camera 2 died.
Which is
Which is this way. That's all right.
that one's easy. You can keep just keep this thing rolling. I'll change it.
Gotcha. Well, I'll talk about mushrooms while you're doing that. Pap, have you ever heard of morel mushrooms?
I have not.
You have not? Well, it's kind of like a delicacy around here. I was describing it to a boss today because he was like, "Do you just eat them raw?" I was like, "Well, no, not really, because they have a strong flavor." But have you ever had caviar before? You know what caviar is?
Yes.
Just like fish eggs.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. It's very rich and they taste amazing, but you wouldn't just shove like spoonfuls of caviar in your mouth,
No,
right?
no.
You always put it on the side or put it on some
Yep.
crackers or something like that. So I go out and hunt for these mushrooms. They're called morel mushrooms, and you really have to put in your work and time because they're only out for like 2 weeks out of the whole year.
My mushroom thing, it's the first time, probably one of the first foods that I ever knew that there is a reason not to like food because of texture,
Ugh.
right? So I had eaten mushrooms before. This is down in Texas, and I hated mushrooms. I absolutely despised mushrooms. And then Darlene, my wife, she used to make a rice and little specks of black stuff was in there. And I never knew exactly what that was, but I knew the rice was good, the food was good, and I ate it. And then eventually she told me, that's chopped up mushrooms. I didn't know that. So I ate that. And then she introduced me to a thing called a portobello mushroom.
Portobello.
And we went up to, I think it's Victor's in up south of Harrisburg, Middletown. And I got I got this portobello mushroom that tasted like a steak, and it was absolutely fabulous. So then I started liking mushrooms.
Hey man.
So Ben, I don't know about the different mushrooms.
Well, one thing is you don't want to just start going and eating mushrooms.
Oh, no.
That's a terrible
No.
idea. But I've been doing it for a while, and I wouldn't say I know all of them, but I know the ones you can and can't eat.
Yeah.
But I know you guys don't have the screen or TV, but just so the crowd can see, I'm pulling up some pictures of these morels right here.
Ooh,
And
I
while
like
that's
that
on
one.
the screen, here, I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, we got a mirror
what they do.
somehow.
Yeah, so they have like very deep pores, and they're very hard to find. There was this guy, some kind of scientist, biologist, and he said when you think about it, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
That's good.
He said when you think about it, flowers, all right, they're bright, they're vibrant, they have all these colors. That's because they want the attention. They want the birds and the bees to come in, all the pollinators. Well, the mushrooms don't care. They spread by spores. They don't depend on wildlife and animals to spread for them. So they're hard to find because they don't give a crap. Like they're not trying to be found is what I'm trying to say. So, but yeah.
That's the first
Mushroom.
time I've ever thought about a flower
Well, I think that's
having a personality and
No.
Really though, yeah.
a mushroom having.
Well, they have there's different kinds of intelligence, and
Oh, I know.
I
believe
could
that.
go off on and on about intelligence and other kinds of life, like plants and different kind of animals and stuff.
I
like
just see
that.
the mushroom being like Eeyore. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah,
Just get out
he
of my
doesn't.
way.
All he cares about is
Yeah.
spreading his spores so that
Yep.
his genes can live on and stuff like that.
That's cool.
But the flowers, they depend on them. They depend on the bees and the birds and all these pollinators
Well,
and these animals to eat their seeds and fruits, so they poop them out in different places. Like, seriously.
Well, you
So
would
I'm-
you would see people see life in a different realm than I do. Like your fish, when you catch fish and you go, "Wow, what an awesome fish," and then you unhook it and let it go. I'm like, man, that was good eating. You just let go, but it's different for you, the nature of things, right?
It is. But on that note, I don't want to get too sidetracked, and I feel
Okay.
like now is a good time.
Man, we could
to-
bring up. We're probably gonna bring up mushrooms every episode.
We could.
yeah,
Yeah,
different.
you don't want to start asking me about this wildlife stuff because it's dangerous. You'll be like, you cut it. You're just the producer, bro.
I'm not. I'm not, man.
But anyways, now we're gonna try something new here.
Oh,
All right, this is a good time for this. So in
time.
this box, I have 3 topics, and they're all 3 different creative activities that we have. Now, Pap, I'm going to give you this box.
Uh-oh, this could be dangerous.
You draw one.
You always stick in the bottom of the box,
now
right?
you can
Yep.
read it and then Ben
Read
will-
it, and then I'll describe it and get you guys the materials you need. Blob. I was really hoping that you'd pick that one.
What does it say? Blob monster?
We need a top-down cam, don't we? Yes, we do. Man, we need to buy
That'd
2
be
more
sweet.
cameras.
Yeah.
Golly. And then if you get 2 more cameras, then you need a different switcher. That's only. Oh man. Oh boy, we're bringing people along for the ride here. So let's check in on the blob monsters.
So the blob monsters turned into blobs of their own.
That's good.
Instead of blobs, they're bugs.
That's good.
So that
I'm-
was mine. Then they'll probably like the old, what do they call it? That was a Rorschach
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
So you showed me blobs. I went to the insect world, and I think part of that was because of the discussion earlier about mushrooms.
Well, that's good. See, I now don't. I think I need to do this just for the purposes of my exercise and the guest experience. And well, you killed didn't do it. I'm afraid to do mine because this is actually way more creative than like you saw negative space and you saw something outside of the something.
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you here what I do, and you'll see just how different people think. I think it's pretty cool. So you give me some blobs, and I'll do a shameless plug here. So, Dad, I don't know if you know, I have a book coming out.
Yes.
It's called Draw the Line. Am I on camera somewhere, Ben? So this book started about 7 years ago. Took a little hiatus from it, but it came back around about a year ago. Publisher reached out to me and wanted to publish the book, like not out of self-publishing, not through Amazon, like a legit publishing deal for this book. It's set to come out on August 6th. It's out for pre-order right now, but in this book are these exercises that we're going to roll through here on this podcast, and some things not in this book, but most of the stuff kind of comes from the idea that all of us can draw. We all are creative, and drawing is not a matter of aptitude or how well you can do things and do stuff. It's a way of processing. It's a way of thinking, and we all can do it, and we all should do it. Pick a page.
Draw the line. 100-day journal. Draw your way across the gap without using rote.
You know what I just thought about?
What's that?
I just thought of a brand new book. So you go on that side, and I'll mimic the exercise. Ben,
Well,
can
I was gonna show it.
Oh yes, show it first.
Here's the exercise.
I forgot we don't have a top-down camera.
Yeah, that's one of the 4 cameras. Do you have that, Ben?
Ben, can we get that red cup of the pens and pencils? Unless you want color.
Well, we're gonna do it on another piece of paper, right?
Oh, you don't want to go in there?
No, I don't want to mess your book up.
I was thinking though, if you had a spiral bound like this, the stuff's flipped and 2 people can be in here.
Doing the same one.
That's fun.
Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah. Look at that. Even props up. So we got a little cliff going on here. And this one's lower. This one's a little bit lower. Okay. So on each page, man, we're just really drilling into the book here. On each page, there's a mission that says, draw your way across the gap without using rope. And then at the bottom of the page here, when you get stuck, when you need more inspiration, you come to the bottom of the page, and there are 2 different sections to help you think about the exercise more, and then also be inspired, or have a little note here that totally introduces a new idea that mentions something that has nothing to do with the exercise at all, just to get the brain moving, just to basically just shake the brain, rattle it, and see what comes out. So, man, I better explain in my own book. Tips. Down here it says, a triangle is the most structurally sound shape, but it might not be the most creative way to cross. Inspiration piece here is, be curious, ask why. Don't accept no for an answer. Curious people don't just seek the answer. They look for more questions along the way. It's just a big dude.
Oh, that's cool.
See, perspective.
It looked like a huge mountain, but the dude's big enough that he just steps over.
Just a crack.
Awesome. I had a catapult,
Oh, I see.
and it's only good for one side. So you pull the spring down, there's the hook, you release the hook. And
Show the audience.
hopefully,
Pull it up next to you.
hopefully, he flies over the top. Now, if you're coming back the other way, then I guess you would have to take this down out of the mountain and take it over here. Or you put one on the other side.
That's all right.
The other thing
efficient.
I thought was planting a tree over here. And then once the tree got big enough, you could just put a rope on it and swing across. So I could have just put like a little piece of dirt with some seeds,
Oh,
and
yes.
just said, "Well, it's a future drawing."
10 years. Didn't say how fast you had to cross.
No, it didn't say. It didn't give you a time frame.
That's good.
So that would have been cool too.
And there isn't a lot of room, That's the whole thing with drawing prompts and all these things. There's the way this is framed, it wants you to be in the cavern. There's not a lot of room above here.
Right.
So even that, are these limitations that form creativity. So if you had to define creativity, you had to define being creative, what's an answer that's beyond being good at drawing? What's something more?
Unlimited solutions, whether it's to life, to problems, to situations. Creativity gives you the I think the ability to go outside of the norm and create an exit, create an entrance, or create stepping stones from the situation where you're at to where you perceive that you need to be.
Yeah.
So creativity will get you there.
It's a limitless thinking.
Limitless thinking, yeah, is to me is creativity.
And then something else to crack open if we can. It's the limitations that create our limitless thinking. Am I making sense? Am I trying to be too smart?
Maybe if you take little situations and I think we all do that. We look at a problem and we go, I know how to get it from here to here, but I'm going to have difficulty getting it from there to there. And ultimately, you want to go from point A to what you perceive to be point B.
Right.
And that might, in this situation, if you were here without anything, and you said you need to be over here, well, there's a lot of things that have to happen, because you're not going to jump this crevice here. And if you put things in here and said, you're this tall, you have this much muscle, you have these limitations, but you really need to be over here, then you've got to create scenarios to make this smaller or bigger or make you bigger. And I mean, you got to work on something. I made this catapult appear. You made this guy 90 foot tall, which made that pretty easy to do. But I made a catapult unproven, and I don't even have anything for it to swing on. So there's a lot of things that have to happen in order for me to get from here to here. But creativeness says I got an answer for it, but
Yeah.
you don't have all
Chance
the answer.
and certainty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll take another round at this. Like, so for me though, if you are this, if you run an agency, or you're trying to finish a client's work, or you're an artist and you do portraits, or I mean, merely it's just for, I'll zoom in just for what I do for videos. Or even the stuff that I make, a book, as much as I think creativity is outside of a book, is outside of corners, edges, the structure, this limitless thinking we're after is inside of structure. It's inside of rules.
Yeah.
And we can break them, but it stems from rules. Because without rules, I think that's young people or young creatives, old creatives, if they're screw rules, screw your rules. Like, well, to exist in this world, you either accept someone else's rules or you create your own. But those boundaries is where the limitless thinking exists. Because what I'm getting at is limitless thinking actually doesn't exist. It only exists inside of whatever boundary.
Yeah. But if your mind says I'm going to go outside the norm, and that's the kind of person I want to be, there are going to be situations where you're going to find out you have to go and walk on that beaten path that others have in order to get to your boundary. Know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So you might have to bring your focus down to a point that you got to follow that road until you find a spot where you can be creative and create something to get you from there to here. Now, everybody has to climb the top of this mountain.
Sure.
You're not gonna just magically appear on top of it. So you have to walk that trail that others have walked to get to the point where you need to now be creative and make something appear over here. Design work, putting videos together, getting sound mixed up and all that kind of thing. I could never, ever
Sure.
bring all those elements together and make it like you've done a movie, you've done podcasts, you've done things, and I look at that and go, why not? I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Well, it's music. I think that's why, I might not call myself a musician, but I love music because you are, man, it's gone. Orchestra director is a maestro.
Yeah.
That's how I see creativity. That's how I see the creation. There's a couple points I'm trying to drive at, or things in my head that are becoming clear, and it's that, creativity is inside of us because that's how this world has rules, has structures. Because without them, there'd be chaos, and without the maestro, what's a lady maestro? Hey Ben, look up what a lady maestro is called.
My street,
Maestris?
mice man. I'm not so.
Maybe there's the same. It
I think they are the same.
Nowadays, you got a male. If it's a male dominated, you gotta have a female. But I didn't necessarily see a man or a woman when I said maestro. I just saw a music director.
I remember going back to Mr. Anderson, and you could see him leading the band, and he would intentionally point at a section to come up, drop it down. I see people with a stick in their hand, and I used to think, what kind of a deal is that? anybody can keep time to the music and wave their hands around. But there was something to the hand motions of pointing at a group and telling them bring that up
Right.
and bring it down. Typically, the drummers bring it down,
100%.
but it's an art. It's and it's an absolute art.
Yeah. Without his corralling of the band and telling
Yeah.
them what to play and how to play it, it'd be nonsense. It'd be noise.
Well, and it's they've seen more than just the baton during the performance thing. They've seen in creative people, which that would be. They've seen and they hear and they understand the passion that goes with that, and they know that when he's doing this, that is the
Right.
ultimate. He is at the crescendo of his passion,
Right.
and they play to that.
Yeah.
The violins and everybody just plays to that moment that he kind of signals out.
Right.
So that's kind of a cool deal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's I don't know why. I think I'm just working through this thought in my head, and maybe it doesn't mean much to you, but it's this creative type that is so that's stuck, and they want their freedom, and they now have it, right? But then what do you do with this page? Like, what do you do with this blank
Yeah.
sheet? Well, it's nothing until you could bring all of it to it, and that's a lot of work. But when you start with something that's some kind of framework, some kind of boundary, it's just cool to me. Maybe this is all I'm trying to say. It's cool to me how when you truly have limitless potential, you have pen, blank sheet of paper, you get stuck, and you have almost, it feels like no thoughts. You don't feel limited. You feel very limited. But as soon as something says, "Hey, what if you did this?" and then also this, your brain is firing. It's like, oh, I could do 8,000 things with this sheet of paper.
Yeah. And then you start with one idea and you get halfway through it going, and I'm also going to do this because now it's the flow and it's going. Sometimes you look at a blank canvas, you got to pen the blank canvas and you really don't have the motivation yet to get rolling with the thing.
There it is.
Yeah. I like
motivation follows action.
you feel like you need to fill the entire page up when you're done. Like when you had those test sheets in the books you had before, I would catch myself going, oh, I like this one. I'm going to do this. And then I get that one done and I go, wait, there's 7 more in here. Well, I got to do the rest of these. I got to complete this page because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
So yeah, it's a nice starting point. I go back to this, and it's me having a practical way of trying to get what you wanted to convey across the other side, and then this to me is just massively creative. You take the big problem, make it, in this case, a very small problem.
It's nothing for this dude.
It's not a problem at all. You want me over here? Yeah, sure. I'll just take a step across.
Yeah.
I didn't go for that, but that's a very complicated, simplistic way to do it.
And again, the structure, doing it quickly, get that first thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Different set of juices. Mine's practical, and yours is limitless.
well, I think any answer could come out at any time. It's just what time of day,
Yeah.
what kind of day you had, and then
Oh, absolutely.
you do this 10 different ways.
So is this Caitlin Clark? It is.
Well, I mean, she could be huge, or this is just a very small distance,
That's true.
and she's a normal sized person.
Yeah. You're right.
What goes on beyond this drawing, there's so many things that can happen.
Or maybe it's just a gully cut out on the beach. It's not
Yeah.
really a mountain.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you tell me that.
Well, this is fun, and I think we're coming up on our time here. Get back into my children, get you back home, and get you I'm gonna go have some sleepy tea. What do you
Yeah.
have planned for the evening?
That's about it. Go home and just kind of chill out and hit the bed early
This is late for me,
for us old people.
but I think it's staying. You know,
I say old people.
I won't say your age, but for where you're at, making it to 10 o'clock coherent.
No.
No, dude, hang on. We're gonna show. This is how I saw a man, maybe 2 years older than you, at Home Depot today. He is passed out in the lawn and garden section. He's just sitting in a chair. He's gone.
I was
Gone.
I had to go the other day, and I had to go in, and it's a long way from the front of the store back to the bathrooms, and I got about
That was you that I saw.
that was me. I got about 3/4 of the way back there. I got to the part where they had shingles on a pallet, and that shingle was stacked just the perfect height for me to just kind of lean up onto it and sit down a minute. And I was sitting there just kind of taking a break before I got back and on the way to the restroom, and I had 2 people stop by and go, "Sir, are you okay?" Like, yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
So you're gonna think I'm lying now because you think I'm going off of what you just said. But that man that I saw sleeping 5 minutes before that, he was sitting on a shingle.
Could have been me.
I'm not
Did he have a Hawaiian shirt on?
not today.
Yeah, okay. Well, if he did, it's probably me.
Oh, I'll make sure to stop.
I
by
thought
Home
it
Depot.
was neat that somebody stopped by and just went, "Sir, are you okay?" I thought that was pretty awesome. So that was kind of neat.
Humanity restored.
Yes.
On the shingles
On the shingles.
in Home Depot. You
My
said
life,
Lowe's.
my life was on the shingles, and they stopped. So it's good.
Well, that's a fun way to get out of here. Ben, how you feeling, brother?
I feel good.
He's over there with his mushrooms.
Yeah, that's why he's not on camera. No,
No, it was. I think tonight was a good test run. I think we're all slowly, even Pat, slowly starting to get more comfortable with speaking on the spot
right.
and just
Yeah.
kind of being in the moment, being present and talking to each other and not having that weight of there's an audience watching, and instead of that, just
Yeah.
I think it's just a lot more natural and it flows better when we're just here. We're in this garage. We're in the moment, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I think, well, especially for the 3 of us, I think we're always going to get to that place.
Yeah.
It-
You just
You warm yourself into it, and then you're there, and you're kind of like, I didn't realize there was a camera over there.
yeah. Yeah, and
So-
that's our job to do that within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In the future.
And I think it's going to take a lot of pre-warm up
Oh, my.
stuff in the studio before you go, and we're live.
It's gonna take a lot. Yeah, even that for sure. And
Yeah.
and just the hours. I mean, Ben and I have been out here. Even though
Oh, I know you have.
even though we're meeting, it's still probably under 20 hours that we've been after this. Right?
It's awesome.
Probably something like
25. So
I
it
don't know
takes
how many
time.
weeks it's
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
No, thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you, boys, for coming out to the premiere of Draw the Line. Comes out August 6th. Enough of that. I'm not
Just
gonna.
plug in this book.
I am also not gonna stop though, man, because we're trying to feed my family, trying
Yeah.
to get out of debt, trying to do all these things, and I could sit this face down and well, if people are gonna find it, they'll find it. It's like you have
This is
to.
where you need that other voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just cue Ben and he hits it. He hits.
Hits it, yeah. Nobody's gonna buy your book, Caleb. You need to open your wallets up. Nobody. You're a nobody. How are they even gonna know you're here? You're the first book you ever made. You're an unknown artist. Your teachers told you suck. You're never gonna amount to anything.
Stay in the bed. He caught me. So these are the voices in our head, man. But go create things, go make stuff, and tell people about it.
You're right. All right, bub.
All right. Toodaloo.
See ya. And